NBC10 Issue continues on the changed landscape of the healthcare debate. With me now are Don Adams, president of the Independence Hall Tea Party PAC, and Michael Morrill, executive director of the progressive group Keystone Progressive. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So this changes the landscape. The House, the Senate, and presidential elections are huge, probably bigger in one sense than they were a few days ago.
Of course they are. These elections coming up are everything. We in the Tea Party are very anxious to join ranks with our fellow Republicans and conservatives and to defeat Obamacare and President Obama.
You see this as an energizing thing?
I see it as very energizing. And last night we were in contact with a number of other leaders. We all feel that this is just going to galvanize support for Mr. Romney, and also it's going to help the U.S. Senate candidates. And here in Pennsylvania, that would be Tom Smith.
Going up against Bob Casey.
Going up against Bob.
How do progressives view this?
We're excited. This is something that we've been anticipating for a long time. A lot of people were fearful that the Obamacare would be overturned, and we call it Obamacare, too. We're very proud that the president is going to be identified with it.
But are you excited about how it could energize the opposition's base?
I don't think it's going to energize them anymore. They've already been angry for 3 years now, so they can't get any angrier. They can't get any more mobilized. They can't have any more...
But you could get lackadaisical.
We're not going to get lackadaisical. I think people will actually get excited about the future. There were a lot of people who were concerned that we were losing in the Supreme Court, we were losing elections, and so progressives have been kind of lackadaisical. I think now people are excited. They see some chance for victory. They see that the signature piece of legislation has been upheld. It's been upheld by, it was passed by Congress, signed by the President, and upheld by the Supreme Court. That's
so when the U.S. House in 10 days or so decides to try to take the first step towards passing repeal legislation, your reaction to that will be what?
Well, it's not the first time they've tried repeal. That's one of the issues. They've done this over and over again, and the reality is that this is something that I think is going to backfire.
So they're going to do it now with a different attention to it. You think it's going to backfire?
Oh, it's going to backfire politically. Focusing on that instead of jobs. Look, it's over. Again, it was passed by Congress. Okay. The President signed it, and the Supreme Court upheld it.
When the House passes that repeal, assuming they do, what happens?
I did this with my friends here, but it's not over. And after November, when we win the White House and we win the Senate and we retain control of the House of Representatives, we will repeal Obamacare immediately. What's interesting is you view this as a victory, but we just heard a segment in which a scholar, an eminent scholar, said this was a real defeat for progressives in many ways. I think Judge Roberts' decision was incredibly mixed. He obviously wanted not to overrule Congress, which is kind of a conservative notion. He, at the same time, did not want Congress mandated by and what we shouldn't buy. And the only mistake he made was using the Supreme Court to rewrite a law that Congress had written. And that's the unfortunate part of his decision.
As this re-enters the public debate then again, if Congress is doing this, and it's a big issue again in the presidential election when they thought it might have been off the table to some degree, will Obamacare then be, if untouched, will it balloon the deficit?
No, the Congressional Budget Office ranked it and showed that it actually lowers the deficit over the next few decades.
I think the Congressional Budget Office just recently said that it's going to cost over $2 trillion, which is a lot less than the initial estimate of less than $1 trillion.
So the two sides can't agree on numbers.
No. And two-thirds of the American public, according to some polls, are opposed to this bill as well. And that doesn't change.
Mitt Romney, is he hampered in this debate because he supported a mandate in Massachusetts?
No, I don't think so, not at all. Mitt Romney passed a bill in Massachusetts, and it was a state law. It wasn't a federal law. Okay. It was a 47-page law.
What about the federal privacy? There are a lot of people that believe that this is a threat to privacy because of the way everything's going to be computerized. The federal government may have access to it or whatever.
There are protections built in there, and I also have concerns about civil liberties, civil protections, and if that's going to be the case, then I think this is one place where I think that conservatives and liberals, the Tea Party and progressives can join together to make sure that there are protections.
Now, when it comes to the mandate, why is everyone so upset if it may only apply to 1 out of 100 people or at most 6 out of 100 people?
I think it's a concept of having the government tell you what you must purchase.
But we allow states to do that. We allow the states to do that with auto insurance.
problematic, but it's easier to, you can move from one state to another if you're unhappy living in such a situation. When the federal government mandates something, it's serious. It's for everyone. But I would say 2,700 pages in that bill, the Obamacare bill, 49 pages in Romney-Care bill in Massachusetts. So it's two different bills completely.
Michael, when you work between now and Election Day to get Democrats or liberals elected, what will be the biggest myth you want to break about Obamacare?
Well, first of all, we don't work on elections directly, but
encourage discussion.
Well, we work on issues, and one of the things that we will work on very clearly is that this is not the myth that the Koch brothers and the billions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars have been put into to make this something that it's not. This is a bill that protects small businesses, encourages small businesses. It's a job creator. It's a deficit reduction bill, and it's something that will provide affordable, quality health care for all Americans for the first time in history, and join the pantheon of nations in the industrialized world that do the same thing.
What's the biggest myth that you want to break?
Well, if this is a job maker, I'd like to see the jobs. I'm sure the American people are saying where are the jobs. This is an absolutely ridiculous claim. I think the biggest myth that we have with Obamacare is that somehow this is a magic bullet for people's health care, that they're going to all of a sudden receive great health care, and that's just the opposite of the truth.
Right there. I appreciate it, both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Don.
Thanks very much.
More on what all this means for investing for health insurance.